90% of accounts that I audit are missing this one flow. And the thing is, the reason why they miss it is because it's not built as a template in Klaviyo. So what it does is it catches people that are really, really warm. They're already on your list, but they just jump on your site for a little bit and then they abandon. They don't do anything like add to cart or view a product or get to checkout. They don't take any action at all, but you could still trigger a flow that brings them back to then hopefully encourage them to add to cart or view a product or even place an order. The great thing about this flow is that it's only 2 emails. And also optionally, the second email can just be a text-based email if you want. So super, super easy and quick to set up. And it should generate thousands for your store. I've set this up for multiple 7-figure stores, ranging from 1 million a year to 5 million a year. And they use this exact structure that I'm going to go through in this video. So just a quick introduction. I'm Jason. I've been in e-commerce for more than 10 years. I used to sell on eBay, and then I went on to Amazon, made my own FBA products and private label products. And then in 2019, I made my own Shopify store. I did pretty good with that, did over $1 million in sales. But then a few years ago, I helped out a local guy to me, and I ended up tripling his revenue from 50 grand a month to 150 grand a month in under a year. And it was all done through email marketing. And he didn't have to increase his ad spend at all. I've been in the game for a long, long time. And the greatest thing is that I have built my own Shopify store. So I know the ins and outs of email, of ads, of CRO, everything about email, everything about Shopify. I could tie it all in together because of all the experience that I've got. So here's what's happening with the site abandoned flow. Taking a look at this graphic here, site abandoned flow is actually the widest part of the funnel. Right, this is most of the people. If you go down this to browse, someone who viewed a product, to cart, someone who added to cart, and then checkout, someone who got to the checkout, site abandon actually accounts for most of the visitors. So, you do have to have them as a subscriber. Maybe you paid for meta ads, they came on, they signed up to your welcome series, and then they went away. And then who knows, a few days later, a month later, they come back to your site and then take no action at all. The site abandoned flow is going to capture this. So it's actually a really, really high volume flow. So if you've not got this set up, you're really missing out on a bunch of traffic to drive back to your site through triggering through just one metric, which is active on site. So I know it seems a little bit weird. It's like, who's going to come on your site and do absolutely nothing and then just go away? Think about your own browsing habits. You could be just on the toilet. I don't know. Maybe you're just having a quick break and someone calls your name, or maybe you're waiting for a bus, or you're about to go somewhere and you just remembered the site and you were just on it and you're looking at it, but you didn't really have the time to complete a purchase or even look at a product. They could have had the intent of doing all this stuff, but they literally just opened the site, looked at it, and then realized, oh no, I can't do this now. And they went away. So that's the beauty of the site abandoned flow. It really captures people who have been on your site for only 1 or 2 seconds. Maybe it's 5 seconds and they browse the homepage a little bit, but really they were on your site for a very, very short amount of time. But again, it triggers them, it sends an email to them, and it brings them back later. It reminds them later. So they got distracted, but it's going to bring them back. So if you don't have this set up, you're really missing out on probably the most amount of visitors who are going on your site, because as I said, it really is the widest part of the net. It's the widest part of the funnel. There are less people who view a product, even less people who add to cart, and even less people who get to checkout. Most of the people who are on your site are literally just on for a quick few seconds and then they bounce. And this is especially valuable if you are doing retargeting ads on Meta or on Google. Maybe they're scrolling on Meta and they see another ad from you, which is a retargeting ad. It brings them back to your site there, but then again, they might just bounce. So all that retargeting money is going to waste as well if you don't have the site abandoned flow set up. So let's get into the structure of the site abandoned flow. So as I said, it's only 2 emails, right? So really, really quick to set up. First of all, email 1 should be all about a product showcase, right? These people are not quite sure what they want to buy. So it's important to showcase some top sellers or some collection buttons. Really, I like to do both. I have a few best sellers at the top and then a few collection buttons down below. That helps people navigate exactly to where they want to browse, what they want to browse, and what they want to buy. If you only do singular products, they may not be interested in those products. So that's why collection buttons are so important. So going on to email 2, you could add a discount at this point. You don't have to, and I see a lot of people who don't do it and it still works, but adding a discount here in email 2 is a good way to get them over the line. That's completely your choice, and if your margin can take it, I would go for it. And then the alternate email 2 is just one from the founder, right? It can be purely text-based and just saying, hey, I noticed you were browsing, check this out, check that out. Any questions, let me know. That works really, really great as well. And if you're short on time, then do a text-based email because it's super quick to set up. Let's just take a look at a couple site abandoned flows that I've set up for my clients. So here you go. We're just having a look here side by side. So 2 completely different styles here. One's a red light therapy client and the other's a bedding one. So as you can see, we've got some bestsellers right there, right at the top, and then a CTA. Of course, there's some text in the beginning about, hey, I saw you were looking. Let us know if you got any questions. that sort of stuff. So it's important to, make it friendly, make it approachable, and then get into the products. And then here we go. We got a few other little highlight things on the products and why they work. Here we go. We got a review. And so here's the founder, and he's just saying, follow me on social, and it's just a nice friendly sign off. So checking out the bedding one, here you go. You've got a headline saying thanks for stopping by, and then browse by fabric. So this is a really good angle for a bedding company because people like different fabrics. And this is just a bunch of different fabrics that they have on the site, and it helps people navigate to exactly what they're looking for. So the timing of these emails, you can split test this, but generally 4 hours or 2 hours after they have been on your site is a good thing to split test. It's a good timing split test. You wouldn't want to make it much, much longer, and you wouldn't want to make it that much quicker. I mean, I've seen people do like 15 minutes and half an hour, but I feel like if they got distracted and pulled away, then they're going to be busy for like the next half hour. So I like to put 2 to 4 hours. So looking at the headlines here, so looking for something, need help finding the perfect product. Now, of course, you can insert your product name, need help finding the perfect bedding, need help finding the perfect fabric, need help finding the perfect light, whatever you want, put your product in there. And it just helps remind people that they were browsing and yeah, maybe they do need help. They're short on time. And this email is saying that we can help you out. We can help you navigate to what you're looking for. And then, of course, feature the best sellers, make the buttons really, really clear, link to categories, and then always sign off with, do you have any questions? We're here we're here to help. Contact us this way, that way, whatever you do. It could be email, could be WhatsApp, could be a phone number. That really helps as well if you've got that facility. But, opening up that line of communication is really important. All right, so now email two. So I personally like to design this as well, just because I think people who do go on a site just for a little bit and they're not really sure what they're looking for, I like to try show different products and different collections. As I said, we'll get into the text-based one down below, which is really, really powerful as well. But I always set it up this way for my clients. So it's 24 hours after the first email. And then again, graphic based again. And then from the sender name is from the brand name again. Again, at this point, you can introduce a discount. That's up to you, but I like to do it. It really pushes people over the line. More products, open line of communication again, and then reviews as well. So reviews are really, really great as well to help convince people that you are the right store. You've got the right products. So here we go. Just taking a look at two of them here. This one has more text. Like red light therapy is very, very complicated and people need to be explained the different wavelengths and the different timing of using it. And so that's why there's more wording in this one. Looking at the bedding one, it's more simple, more graphic based, more image based. But here we go. We got more lifestyle shots here for red light therapy. It can help with pain. It can help with sleep. It can help with your eyes. So that's what these graphics here are doing. And over here, we just got some more collection buttons. In this case, it's about, is it bottom sheet you want? Is it a duvet you're looking for? Duvet cover? So again, a different style of collections that helps people navigate to exactly what they need. And then down below, we've got more products. So in this case, we're looking at panels. These are the most popular panels on the site, and people can then just say, all right, I'm interested in that. Let me take a look. So as you can see here as well, we got a discount in the other email with the bedding. We don't do a discount at all, and it still makes thousands per year. That's again, your choice. And then down here, we got a nice review, and that helps people feel convinced that this is the right product. It's obviously a genuine review, really well written with the product that they used. For the bedding one, we didn't put a review, but we talk about, reaching out. They have a phone number, and actually they get a few calls. So that helps build the trust as well. Just saying, hey, give us a call if you need some help. All right, so here's the alternate email too. Again, this would still be 24 hours after the first email. This one's plain text, no images, pure, simple. And then you can change the sender name to be from the founder's name. So put your name in there, from whatever it is, Jason Heap, and then make it really, really friendly. You've got to imagine how you write emails to friends and family. It's got to be in a similar way. So let's just take a look at this. Hey, Jason, it's Alina from the founder of the linen cupboard. That's not her name, by the way. Just putting some fillers in there. I noticed you were browsing our site and you didn't find the perfect bedding. With so many thread counts, colors, sets to choose from, it can be hard to pick your favorite. Try checking out our bestsellers. All right. So really, really informal. Try checking out our bestsellers, hyperlink. For your creative collection of most loved linens, I know you'll find something you'll love in there. So really, really friendly language and encouraging language as well. Then a little PS, if you're after that hotel quality feel, check this out. So this is like an additional suggestion for them to browse. It could be a best-selling range. And that PS, it really, really works well. It's like another friendly way of saying, oh yeah, by the way, check this out. And then finally, shop 20% off today. So this could be like a range of discounted items, which this brand is currently doing. So let's just build the site abandoned flow. I'll show you how to do it because again, it's not templated in Klaviyo. Why they don't do it, I don't know. But that's why there's so many people missing out on it. That's why you've probably set up a bunch of flows, but not the site abandoned flow because it's just not there as a template in Klaviyo. So remember, people, in order to receive this, they do have to be subscribed. Klaviyo can't track non-subscribers who have just come on the site. The trigger to use is active on site, and then we'll get into the flow filters and then any suppression. So that's the similar as the flow filter, but I'll just show you how to do that. So let's go into Klaviyo. Let's do create flow. So obviously you click on flows there first and then create flow. And then you have to go build your own. And then let's just call it Site Abandon Flow. Create flow. All right, so here we are. We've got to then click on the trigger here, go over to your metrics, and then click on API. So this will be stuff fed from Shopify or fed from WooCommerce, but they're not fully integrated. It's something that Klaviyo helps talking between the two sites. So click on that there and then active on site. And then this is a new thing with Klaviyo to allow reentry or not. Personally, I like to allow reentry. So you could end up splitting this between people who have purchased or not purchased in the past to have different language. But I personally like to allow reentry because maybe someone, bounces your site 1 month and then comes back 3-4 months later and they bounce again. You don't want to miss out on that opportunity. You still want to get them back. So allow reentry. And then down here, we've got to set up our profile filters. So this one has quite a few profile filters because you don't want them going through multiple flows at once if they take other actions. So let's just go down in order of the funnel. So the next thing they may do is view a product. So you want to say view product 0 times since starting this flow. All right, that's good. And it's always an and in this case because you want them to not match every single one of these criteria. There we go. What someone has or has not done. And then the next step would be add to cart. 0 times since starting this flow. And someone has or has not done, checkout started. So obviously if you're on Shopify, it would have the Shopify logo. 0 times since starting this flow. And then finally, placed order. So again, if you're on Shopify, choose that. I'm just in a dummy account here. Placed order 0 times since starting this flow. And then you just hit save there. All right, there you go. So those are all the filters that you want to have. Save that, confirm and save. Then we just start building it. So obviously with this one, we start with a time delay. So let's go 2 hours. Save that. But if you want to do a split test, let's set up the conditional split. Click on that there, and then just choose the random split. So random sample, and then leave that at 50. So it's going to be 50% yes, 50% no. And then we do time delay here. Let's just say 4 hours. Okay, that's good. And then you just put an email in there. And then the next time delay, let's say 1 day. Save that. And then put your last email in there. And then that's it. And then, of course, you go through, you put your subject line in, your preview text, you make the email. And then when you're done with it, all you have to do is do clone email 1, put that over there. And then clone email 2. And then put that over there like that. Now, of course, and also the time delay, put that in there. Now, if you want to differentiate, it's always good to just put a little thing in there. So let's just say this is the 2 hour email 1. And then 2 hour email 2. Then just save that. All right, so now on to the skip recently email profiles. So personally, I think I would leave this one ticked here. And the only reason that they may receive an email is, firstly, if they happen to be in another flow, right? Imagine they just signed up to your welcome series and they're going through your welcome series. Of course, you'd untick this for all of your welcome series. You want to make sure that they receive your welcome series. But also imagine they received a campaign email. The campaign emails are a good blast. They're really well thought out. So you may want to just skip people from receiving an email if they've received a campaign email from you recently. Personally, I just like to do that with all the abandoned flows. Just make sure it skips, because otherwise people are going to be in too many flows or getting too many campaigns. And it just makes sure that they're getting 1 email per day at the most. Maybe you send an email, a campaign email when they should be receiving email 1. But then the next day, they can still get email 2. So it's just about this specific email. It's not the whole flow. So you're keeping that ticked on email 1. It just means they're going to miss email 1, but they still will get email 2. And that's perfectly fine. So that's it. Pretty simple. Make one graphic, make one text-based, make both of them graphic. You know, make sure you get your collection buttons in there, wide range of products. You know, remember, these people are not quite sure what they want. So really important to help them browse again. You know, really the main goal of the site abandon is to get them to take the next action, which is view a product or add to cart or reach checkout or of course buy. And of course, there are many, many thousands of people buying through a site abandon all the time. And it does work as a standalone flow and generates a bunch of revenue. You know, you can do some split testing with the timing, with the subject lines. You can try adding a third email in there. And then, you know, you just compare it, you know, compare with code, without code. Obviously, if you're making it without the code, that's great. You know, you get more margin. So get this set up today. It's a really good flow. It makes a bunch of revenue over time and it's real easy to set up. I'll see you in the next one.